it was going to be playing this Mew VMAX list that we're
we
talking
are gonna
about.
See some Mew.
Yeah,
nice.
we said that there was one, at least one that was 4-0, and sure enough there is. And we mentioned earlier that we have Taketo Seki playing that Lugia V-Star Archeops. Very cool to see the Japanese showing up here, and once again we get to feature them on stage in a pretty fun matchup, as we've been looking to see why the Mew VMAX players think that this is a good field for them and all these Lugias. Maybe we'll get an answer.
Hey, I mean, it's our third most played deck at this tournament, so there are some heavy believers in there. Maybe people who just feel like they fall on the good side of RNG as well, you know?
Yeah, you know, sometimes it just works out for you. Also, you kind of make your own luck with Mew. If you can lock in paths early and not let your opponent play Pokemon, it's a pretty easy way to win the game.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I always enjoy casting Mew matches too, just because I feel like this is some of the most exciting games that we get to see sometimes, especially if, you know, some coin flips start rolling out at some pivotal moments. It's always pretty awesome. So we definitely have an action-packed round that we are about to head into for you all at our Oceania International Championships here in Australia.
Yep, I'm looking at the list right now for Taketo, and he is playing a very consistent list of Lugia. And by consistent, I'm talking four Lugia V-Star. And there is also a really nice tech at the very bottom there. That Drapion V is going to be working wonders here against the Mew.
Yes. I mean, you have to think, though, you're going to be seeing a lot of Drapion out in the field if you're the Mew player. It's still in so many decks. Oh, look at this, Kyle. Look at these prizes.
Yeah, that's tough. 2 Mew V and the Genesect V as well. One of those 2 Forest Sealstone prized. On the other side, I think we see that one path there too is from Taketo. So interesting inclusions in this list here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we did see that Les's Sparkle as well, so this is going to be the fusion build of Mew VMAX, which is important to point out as well. And here we go. We're getting into this game, kicking off our round 5 here. So we are starting over on Taketo's side.
Yep, and he's got a surprise for us. This list is a very interesting style of Lugia. You're not going to see a lot of those single prize attacking Pokemon like the Radiant Charizard and the Raikou featured in this list. No, there's 3 Cry of Destruction Evital ready to go.
Wow. And yeah, we see one of those in the active position already. All that was done for the turn, though, was the manual attach of that double turbo energy and just a pass back to Vincent over here. So Genesect V being in the active position for Vincent, and I'm guessing one of the 4, 2 of them being in the prize cards, Mew Vs on the bench.
Yep, this is a 4-2 list of the Mew V and VMAX, so we're only going to see 2 of those, and this has got to be terrifying for Vincent. Looking on the other side, says, yeah, well, it's Lugia, but my energies aren't going to be sticking around. What's going on here?
Yeah, I don't like seeing that, that's for sure. Hey, I mean, we said, how are these Lugia decks going to adapt? And this is definitely an innovative version of the deck. So I'm excited to see where this goes. And maybe not something you would have prepared for as well, being the Mew VMAX player.
Absolutely. Yeah, Vincent also playing the Meloetta style. So you are going to see the Fusion Strike energies featured in this deck. So not just locked in on those 4 double turbos, but it also means that there's a couple more energies for that Cry of Destruction Evital to target.
Yep, so we did start off with that quick ball, discarding a boss's orders, so that is out of play now, and we're going straight in with an Alessa's Sparkle on Vincent's side. Vincent being able to play a supporter card because they are going second.
Yep, and we're going to see a few of these energies come down onto the field now. That's 3 special energies, and that lines up pretty good on the other side, doesn't it?
It's been a while since I've seen a fusion energy, I gotta say.
Well, you might see them go and do the discard pile.
Yeah, we might not see them for long, Kyle, that's
right.
for sure. So long, fusion energies. Sad to see. All right. Are we going to see a new popularized version of Lugia come out of this match? That is what we're going to see. All right, so we're going with that first Genesect V Fusion Strike system to draw into some extra cards here for Vincent. Ooh, a Cramomatic.
I like the risk here. We see instead of using the quick ball, just going to go ahead and use the Cramomatic to go for it. Has the built-in Genesect to go ahead and draw a little more and not be left with a completely stranded hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I already said it, Kyle. These Mew players and their RNG, they believe. I'm telling you. So there we go. Did hit the tails there, but still rolling on with this turn for Vincent. And that's what we're going to be seeing a lot in this matchup that you see in Mew VMAX matches in general. A lot of cards are being drawn off the Fusion Strike systems. You're dwindling your hand down as much as possible. As you can see, this is the second time so far for Vincent to just get 0 cards in hand here. So going through here now, the deck, searching out that Mew and just shuffling up.
Yep, just going to go ahead and fill up the bench. It actually looks pretty strong as you're not really hinting to your opponent, well, I've got a couple Mews prized.
You're like, these are my only Mew, but you don't know that.
I've got plenty of these. I'm fine. And to see all of those Fusion Strike energies already down means that Meloetta is certainly a threat, but you have to be cautious of the fact that your opponent is going to love to take away energy soon.
Absolutely. And look at that. Fusion Strike system is always nice when you get to use it with an absolutely stacked bench there. So Vincent going to draw into a bunch of cards for equal to each Fusion Strike Pokemon in play off that Fusion Strike system. And we are back over on Taketo's side here as well. Starting off with an Evolution Incense here.
Yep, you still have to play the nice, consistent Lugia build of go ahead and get your Summoning Star, try to get those Archeops into the discard pile, but having the drawbacks, well, the additional plays of having this this Evital built ready to go.
Many of them.
Yeah, that's going to be so sweet. As you have access to all these energies, you're really going to be able to cry of destruction whenever you want, and when you finally want to take some knockouts, the Drapion V is definitely going to do some work.
Absolutely. We have some pretty major players as far as Evitals go in our format as of now. 2 very prominent ones. Of course, this one discarding special energies, but we also have one that just takes a knockout that's usually played in Lugia as well. So definitely such an interesting build, though. You know, I love to see what comes from our Japanese players, though, because this is something I've never seen before, Kyle.
Right. Yeah, we've mentioned that as they get to revisit this format as they're already a format ahead of us. And,
yeah.
He's come back and said, you know what? I think this is going to work out fairly well. I'm going to just go ahead and target down a bunch of special energies, and definitely has a solid Mew matchup, you'd think.
And honestly, maybe that is what is needed, is just a fresh look on the format here. Jumping back and re-strategizing, but there we go. We are going to see those Fusion Strike energies hitting the discard. Ah, that's tough to see, Kyle.
Yeah, it's it means that you definitely are. Well, first off, you're only going to have one more Fusion Strike energy, so Meloetta's not doing too much. And then looking through the trainers here, I don't see a card like Silene featured in this list.
Recovery.
So they are gone forever.
What do you even do in this situation, Kyle? Like, how do you respond to just getting all of your energy discarded?
Yeah, it's going to have to be a Mew VMAX game. There's 2 in the list, and of course, try to get those out as early as possible. Make use of those double turbo energies and make every knockout count.
Oh,
because
yeah, that's for sure.
When you play an energy, it better be taking prize cards.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that, you know, when you do potentially finally get a knockout, it's just a 1 prize Pokemon that you're taking out. It sounds so much damage to your field, but you're only taking 1 prize card off it. That's unfortunate for sure. But here we go. Lost City is going to come into play. But I suppose if the Evital does hit the Lost Zone, I mean, there's plenty more to go in Taketo's deck. So
yeah, I don't think we see the recovery on this side either. But it's demoralizing, I guess, to go ahead and see him gone into the abyss.
That is for sure. We see another Choice Belt hit the field as well here for Vincent. So, and I believe the one in the active, the Mew VMAX, also has a Choice Belt on there.
Yeah, we'll see if the Choice Belts are enough to maybe work in some relevant damage onto the Lugia V-Star at some point in time later on. This list still does feature the 4 power tablet, so trying to get aggressive whenever possible, but we do know that there is a little bit of counterplay. Usually that V-Guard is featured on the other side.
All right. Here we go. So Vincent mapping out. So we saw now, I believe it was 2 Meloettas. One is on the bench. The other was just searched out of the deck as well, making sure to thin as much as possible here. Oh, actually, you can't play 2 stadiums. in the same turn. So that Lost City is going to go back out onto the field there. Just an oversight, I'm sure, on Vincent's part, but I'm sure easy to slip up when you're trying to map out a lot of turns there. So here we go. We're going to see the knockout on that eVTOL there on Taketo's side. It is going to go to the Lost Zone because of that Lost City being active, and Taketo is going to promote that Lugia V-Star that has an energy attached to it.
And we see the top deck bird keeper there to try to go ahead and draw a couple extra cards here. There was an Aurora energy in the hand, so at least one Archeops will be able to get into the discard pile. But I don't think that there's anything else going on in this hand.
Yeah, and that is definitely not what you want to see for sure, Kyle.
It's tough. At least you have a way to retreat here with the Aurora energy, but you're probably going to have to go ahead and go with the one.
Yeah, that's going to be a single Archeops being drawn out with Summoning Star from that Lugia V-Star power. So, wow, that's a mouthful. There we go. That Archeops, of course, is going to jump straight into that Primal Turbo as well, searching out 2 special energy from the deck and placing it onto one Pokemon. But there's actually a lot of special energy in hand as well, too, now for Taketo. But, you know, this deck plays plenty.
Sure, yeah, there's going to be some energies there for the Lugia, but at this point, what else can you really accomplish? It's you had to do this because your opponent accidentally showed they had Path to the Peak, and you looked at your hand and said, oh, I just didn't have an answer to that. I don't even have a Pumpkaboo or anything I can reach for, so I need to make use of this Summoning Star right now.
Yeah, I feel like this is the situation where if you have to draw one out, you're probably just going to pop it off and draw one out for sure. And no, that's definitely an interesting thing that just happened. It's a little bit of a showing the hand on Vincent's side too, but it definitely changes your game plan over for Taketo.
Yeah, we'll see if maybe the Lugia has to get aggressive, and then some cleanup Pokemon in the future might be able to get the job done here. Maybe a Pokemon like Stoutland, or generally that Luminion is a great way to help clean up knockouts like this. But this is a very interesting build of Lugia with a lot of the disruption, and this is a spot that's kind of weird because you need aggression in this point.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what am I looking at here? Like, not only just so many different cards, or I suppose different things being played in the deck, but also the different artworks too. It's really cool to see with Japanese cards.
Yeah, it's pretty wild that we did not see the Drapion V found in any way so far. Even Capture Energy something would have been able to get the job done, and it's just Lugia that has to go in and try to get the prize cards itself, and this is not exactly
well,
how
we're going to see some damage here, at least, but no, you're 100% right. We have not seen the Drapion at all in this game, and that is, of course, the key player in this matchup for sure.
Oh, plenty of damage onto the Mew VMAX now. Looks like there's the double turbo along with the powerful, so should be fairly decent to figure out here. We'll see if they get the pips right.
Got to make sure all that damage is accurate, that's for sure. All right, but the Mew VMAX survives here, and we are back over to Vincent's turn. So all of those Genesect Vs are going to be reset, ready to draw some more cards. Of course, Vincent does have to thin the hand before cards are really able to be drawn into. I would assume that Path to the Peak is most likely to come into play.
Going to target down the Archeops there with the boss's orders, and when you only have one, that is pretty fantastic. Also, just has the Path in hand, so if a Pokemon like Luminion were trying to save the day at some point, you could play that down, but I think Vincent's going to be able to draw a few more cards before having to make that decision.
Disruption versus disruption, really, is what's happening here in this game so far. The Meloetta is going to get a manual attach there on the board as well.
Oh, I think we've seen a double attachment again. The Mew is going to combine with the Meloetta, but now this is fine.
Oh, never mind,
we figured it out.
Subtract that.
Yep, so just going to be drawing the one here. But this is kind of scary being on Vincent's side, playing down these additional energies, because you know your opponent is playing that Cry of Destruction eVTOL. If they were able to find it at the right time and you don't have a double turbo ready to go, that's terrifying.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. All right. We did see like an almost pivot there on Vincent's side, but Just a quick search through the discard pile as well, and we're just going to see the Mew VMAX taking that knock. That's pretty huge here, Kyle. That Archeops, the only Archeops, the sole Archeops on Taketo's side, is now gone into the Lost Zone because of that Lost City. Not that it would ever come back either way, but it's extra gone now.
That's right. Well, Taketo top decking the Ultra Ball here is actually pretty nice. That was the one big piece that was missing last turn. Of course, the knockout's already lined up here for the Lugia. Go ahead and take that, but you can kind of play pretty slow here and say, I still have a pretty bad hand. Go ahead and send up another Mew VMAX. I definitely don't have an answer built and ready to go.
I think this is the most amount of Pokemon I've seen enter into the Lost Zone from the Lost City. That is great, actually. So we're going to see just the counter knockout there from Taketo's side. Of course, that Mew VMAX is very beefy. 3 prize card Pokemon right there. So Taketo going down 3 prize cards, and it is back over to Vincent's side. Now we have 4 Genesects on the field here. 2 prize cards were taken too, and the Mew V, were they in the middle of the prize cards?
No, they're still hanging out.
That's unfortunate.
See a lot of cards that can't exactly be played right now. Oddly enough, Vincent just had energies in hand the whole game, and you can't play that path to the peak and start drawing. So very limited here in terms of trying to draw into the Mew VMAX. Gonna just draw 1 with 1 in the Lost Zone and only 1 other in the deck. It's gonna be a tough ask, but we'll see if the Genesect can help out.
All right, we're going to see that big Parasol come down, at least thinning that out of the hands there onto the Meloetta. What was drawn into?
Lost Vacuum. That's a great way to clean this hand up a little bit if you want to, but I'm going to go ahead and use the Forest Seal Stone. It's the guarantee. Of course, you wanted to hold on to that if you could, but we'll go ahead and get that Mew VMAX. That's just fine.
The card that made Mew VMAX even stronger, that Forest Seal Stone, even more consistency there. Just get anything you want out of the deck. Of course, it does use your V-Star power as well, but hey, that's exactly what we needed to see because we needed some thinning of this hand, and an Ultra Ball is going to do that, discarding the Battle VIP Pass and a Path to the Peak to search out that beloved Mew VMAX that's going to come straight down onto our active Pokemon.
Yep, we're still, I think, 3 amplifiers away from finding the knockout, so it'd have to be a wild run of finding the power tablets.
Well, Ultra Ball is always good, and a power tab.
Yep, there's one. There's potential to play this hand down and go for it, but it's a big risk.
I've seen some wild turns with Mew, but you definitely have to believe in the cards, that's for sure.
Well, this is a dangerous spot as the Mew VMAX.
Oh my gosh, are we going to see it? Oh, power tablet's being played with the choice spells.
Just going to go ahead and cash in on some of the damage here.
Let's get some damage here and just keep chugging along throughout this game. So Taketo now over on this side with a heavily damaged but still fighting Lugia V-Star here.
We'll see if this is a big surprise for Vincent as the Drapion V comes down, and that is a great way to clean things up. Only needed to knock out 2 Mew VMAX to get the job done, and Taketo is going up 1-0 real quick.
Yeah, that is, I assume maybe if you're Vincent, you've probably seen that plenty of times if you continue to pilot Mew VMAX, but every time it happens, every time that Drapion comes out, you never love to see it.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky to see it in Lugia. It's not always a featured card, so sure enough, you see that. You start to wonder when you see your opponent play down the Cryo Destruction Evital. Okay, well, that's their answer to Mew, so they clearly don't also have the Drapion V, right?
Like, wait a second, surprise!
Yep, this is not a matchup that Taketo wanted to sacrifice.
No, absolutely not. Well, at least at this point, though, Vincent now knows that, you know, at least 2 of very surprising attackers that are in the deck, so maybe able to strategize around that, but honestly, it's kind of an uphill battle because, like you said, Kyle, too, all you need to do is take down 2 Mew VMAX and you're golden, and Taketo can punch a ticket for a 2-0 here, and that is definitely an uphill battle to face right now if you're in Vincent's position.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how I think Vincent needs to play the match. You can't really play down those energies like we saw in the opener with the Alessa Sparkle throwing down 3 energies and just hoping your opponent doesn't have a double turbo energy, because that's a fairly likely play for your opponent to have. So I think anytime you see the energies come down, you're going to have to draw prizes. Maybe that means you start with the Mew VMAX and then try to lead into that mid-game Meloetta.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this is going to play out between both of our players. I always love going into a game, too, because then it's like, all right, how are these players going to react to what the game 1 was? And this is when we get to really see the very skillful plays happen. And that's always exciting to see. This is when you see the players shine, really.
Oh.
2 Lost City, a Genesect V, a Mew VMAX.
The Mew VMAX is terrifying.
How
It's
many
just a 4-2 line.
Oh,
so
no.
only working with the 1 for the rest of the game. At least we won't see it Lost City to this game, though, as the super prize.
Yeah, that is very true, but that is definitely tough to see for sure. 2 double turbos and a Path to the Peak and a Lugia and a Pumpkaboo, but nothing too wild. Like we've said plenty of times, there's a lot of special energy in Lugia, so.
Well, surprise!
And if you're taking 3 prize cards at once. Oh, no!
Starting the game off with the Drapion V. That is definitely a terrifying sight. As Vincent's just kind of frozen. Says, I've got a really good hand, but I don't want to play down too many Pokemon. I'll just get knocked out.
Oh, my gosh.
He threw away a Battle VIP
I was about
pass.
to say for the Cram, and the Cram did not pay out there with a Tails roll off of the Cram-O-Matic, so nothing to be searched out as far as that. That's pretty wild. You don't often see a Mew VMAX throw away a Battle VIP pass on first turn.
Wow.
I'm gonna say.
Then this is just gonna be the quick ball here. There's another quick ball. I think another Cram-O-Matic in the hand.
Yeah.
So certainly some ways to draw, but.
And a power towel down as well now to the quick ball.
This is, I mean, I think you still have to just play Pokemon. You have to get a bunch of Pokemon down and retreat to a Meloetta and let the Drapion V take a prize, hopefully just 1, and then you work your way to the Mew VMAX. But this is going to be the slow motion play, and if there's a double turbo, then you can still attack with this Pokemon.
Work your way to your only Mew VMAX
Yeah,
as well.
there's a double turbo.
Oh my goodness.
Wild Style is in effect for just the 2 down. That's going to be enough for the knockout here. And this is incredible. Vincent tried to play around this, and sure enough, Taketo has it ready to go.
I think this is the best performing Drapion we've ever seen, Kyle. That's for sure.
MVP chance.
And it started. Yeah, that's even funnier.
Unreal. Has the Lugia on the bench as well, so gets to continue with the general strategy of Lugia, but who cares at this point? We got prize cards.
Oh, no. Yeah, this is definitely a very, very tough spot to be in. I mean, we saw a lot of disruption happen early game over for Vincent from Taketo's side, but this is even worse that we're seeing now. Professor's research as well, which is going to allow Taketo to draw into even more cards and just set up this first turn versus Vincent having such a weak first turn. You hate to see it.
We'll see what else the hand has here as getting Archeops into the discard pile.
Lots of cards, that's for sure.
Plan 2, yeah, at least 7.
At least 7, yes. It does look like a lot of supporters, though. I saw another research, a Birdkeeper. Evital is going to come down. I think a Boss is in there as well. Wow. Yeah, lots of, and a Marty. That's like a lot of supporters in that hand.
Yeah, I got bad news. If you want to play the game, you're going to have to bench Mew. And if you bench Mew and there's a Boss, you're going to lose a Mew.
Yeah, exactly. Like we just saw there, of course, that Mew V being taken down by Taketo. That is going to be a knockout there, going down 2 prize cards. We are back over onto Vincent's side now, but this is not an uphill battle. This is like climbing Mount Everest right now.
Yeah, this is terrifying. No rope, no nothing. You just got to make your way up there, and I don't see how this is done without losing a lot of prize cards. I believe Meloetta is going to have to be a key here, as that's basically the only way that you remove this Drapion V from play right now. But you also need to draw very well. It has to be Alessa Sparkle, the switching effect. Probably going to have to see that Forest Sealstone too. So a lot of big cards lining up here for Vincent potentially.
Yeah, I didn't even see what else is in the hand either for Vincent as far as what is left to come. Looks like just a quick ball. So still a thin hand to be able to draw into a lot of cards. And, you know, if there's any deck that's going to be drawn into cards, it's going to be Mew VMAX. Of course, Vincent now, I'm sure, having the knowledge to drawing into an Ultra Ball and a Quick Ball, having to use the Ultra Ball to discard 2 Quick Balls to go back into the deck for a Pokemon here. Vincent as well having the knowledge that there's only 1 Mew VMAX in the deck.
Yep, just being tempted to get more Pokemon over and over again from Vincent's side. He says, I didn't really want to, but I guess I have to. This Mew is very important.
Are you playing Mew VMAX or is Mew VMAX playing you,
That's
Kyle?
absolutely
That's my
happening
question.
here. We'll see if Genesect V can help out, but I think it has to be the perfect combination of cards here. Meloetta has to be involved in this formula if you want to survive, because this is too many prize cards.
Oh my gosh, look at these draws as well. We have a Switch, Boss, Battle VIP, which obviously is useless now that we're past turn 1. And then just an energy, a fusion energy. That is, I mean, we see how many ball searches are already in the discard pile as well. So that's even more ways that you're just not able to dwindle down your hands. At least the energy can be attached this turn, but there is not. And there's nothing else.
There's nothing protecting this Mew V if this Pokemon falls.
Yeah, and the boss is in hand. We know that already for Taketo.
Exactly. This is a terrifying opportunity. As Taketo will be able to just dominate from this stage. And Vince is just going to try to buy some time here, promote the Lugia, hopefully stall a little bit, and draw into a couple cards. Finds Meloetta.
Yeah, there is that Meloetta drawing into another power tab, but just going to be a pass here back over to Taketo. So if we can see some sort of switching out here. The boss is already in hand. Oh, and there's a Bird Keeper.
Well,
That's quite nice.
Bird Keeper and boss not in the same turn.
Oh, yeah, true.
But, yeah, I think the issue right now is I don't know if the Archeops was able to reach the discard pile yet.
I don't think so. I have not seen it hit the discard.
Yep, that might be.
Well, we do have Ultra Ball, but is there other cards in hand to be able to discard it after that happens?
Right.
Lugia V-Star did come out as well and evolve the active Pokemon here. And we're going to see that single Archeops. But will it hit the discard?
Yeah, we'll see if there's another supporter that potentially could be used in this spot to do a little more here, but this is relatively slow, the V-Guard. But yeah, here's the professor's research. Going to go ahead and get that Archeops into the discard pile, and maybe this lines up to some Cryo Destruction or the Drapion V coming down, because, I mean, you'd love to just take the prize cards here for sure with the Drapion.
I mean, either way, you're in a very, very solid position no matter what's going on here. I mean, you did have to throw a lot of supporters away, opting to play into that research there, but now you have even more cards here to line up your turns following this one.
Yeah, the only decision now for Taketo is, do I use all of these ball searches so that I can get the second Archeops into the discard pile, or am I comfortable with one? And I think one is okay, but it just depends on how valuable these resources are. We see a couple of those double energies along with the boss's orders in this hand, so pretty valuable resources.
Yep, but we are going to see at least two of them. One of the double turbo energies being thrown away, and I believe another Ultra Ball for that Archeops there. Quickly just discarded into the Quick Ball. So that is going to make two Archeops hitting the discard pile. Of course, leaving that V-Star ability free for Lugia V-Star.
That lines up very well here. Now the only decision, what do you grab with this Quick Ball? You could be thinking, well, if my opponent eventually takes a knockout, maybe I want Luminion, but the board's probably going to be full from this point until the rest of the game.
Spaces, yeah.
So this was basically just for thinning purposes.
All right, there we go. V-Star power has been utilized there to take those Archeops out of the discard pile onto the bench. That's Summoning Star. And we're now jumping in with that Primal Turbo, as we've seen many times before. Where are we going to see these energies going? I mean, there's only one on the active.
I think we go active. Just take the knockout here. You get to hold on to the Drapion V to clean up any Pokemon in the future, and dealing 310 damage is a lot to ask of your opponent right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We'll see all those energies coming down there by way of the Archeops, and this is a fantastic spot to be in if you're Taketo. Turn 1, you take a knockout with Drapion V. Turn 2, double Archeops Summoning Star, knockout with Lugia, and the Drapion ready to go on the bench. Are you kidding me?
I was about to say, also just having everything you need really on your board state already is it's quite nice there on Taketo's side, and unfortunately for Vincent, there's a lot more issues that are coming up in the next couple of turns as well. One being that Taketo is subtracting these prize cards so easily. Going to go down to 2 prize cards, and that's just one more turn and one more Pokemon being taken down before the win.
Yep, the only way out really is for Vincent to find a way to use this Meloetta with all of the Fusion Strike energies and try to get the job done, but I don't see that happening. Just gonna check the math here right now, but certainly should be.
Yeah, there's so many energies that come into play here sometimes that it's always good to just triple check the math, but
yeah,
that is going to be a knock.
It's a base 220. I think we're getting the knockout here.
Yeah. That is the knockout there on that Genesect V. So Vincent having to choose what to promote now.
Yep, UV with the free retreat.
Easy
Seems
peasy.
pretty likely finds the Fusion Strike energy, so just an Alessa Sparkle would be able to help out, but plays that onto the Mew V, so all in on the Mew V Max now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that doesn't line up too well with the Drapion V waiting. Boss's orders found.
Only 2 prize cards left for Taketo as well. I don't see how the rest of this pans out, Kyle. Or maybe I do, but it is not a happy sight, that's for sure.
Trying to disrupt the hand. There was Boss's orders where you could go ahead, target down the Drapion V, maybe find that Mew V Max with the last Genesect and try to get rid of that Pokemon at least. Not always guaranteed a knockout with that Lugia V-Star against the Mew V Max. Go with some hand disruption.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So that Marnie will be played, of course.
Found the Mew V Max.
And the Choice Belt, too. Well, a couple damage modifiers here.
A couple? Yeah, we need a few.
You need a little bit more power than that.
Yeah, we'll see. It's we're 222.70. Got to do 310.
If only you could just play 2 Choice Belts on one Pokemon, right, Kyle?
Honestly, this is what I've been waiting for, but yeah, I haven't seen Sigilyph in a while.
Yeah, true. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I feel like these Fusion Strike system draws too have just been a little bit awkward and clunky for Vincent as well, which has not been too helpful here, aside from the incredibly scary board state that Vincent is looking at on Taketo's side as well. So we are just going to see the damage there onto the Lugia V-Star, but now it's up to Taketo.
Just retreat. That's all you got to do. Drapion V, absolutely incredible Pokemon, and it is doing work here at the International Championships here in Australia as Taketo is going to be moving on to 5-0.
Yeah, with a very convincing 2-0 there as well against that Mew V Max, with a very interesting build of Lugia V-Star too. So there's so many things that we got to see just then, Kyle, and I'm gonna just say it now. I don't think that match played out at all as I thought it would.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it and you go, oh, it's going to be Mew V Max against Lugia. We've seen some interesting counterplay. Maybe they drop the path. Who knows? And
another traditional match.
There's a lot of dark Pokemon in that Lugia build, and that was certainly a fantastic showing of how this deck can work. I'm excited to see how it works against potential other Lugia builds, because if you're 4-0, 5-0 now, you know that you're going to see a bunch of those at the top. If this streak continues, this is going to be a fantastic tournament for Taketo.
No, definitely. And you got to think, too, what has been cut to slot those cards into the deck as well. That's where the question comes from, because, you know, you can't just fit tons and tons of cards into your deck. You have to make